A long overdue welcome back to Simming History, where we look at the history of architecture through the lens of The Sims. Before we get started today, there will be a special request for viewers at the end of the video, so please stay tuned because I need your help. Today, we are looking at a vernacular type from Boston, a subscriber request, the three-decker or triple-decker. As immigrants poured into big towns during the second half of the 19th century to provide labor to the Industrial Revolution, a housing solution needed to be developed to house all of the new citizens. Boston's answer was the triple-decker. And not just Boston, this form of affordable housing was embraced across New England. But between 1880 and 1930, over 15,000 of these homes were built in Boston alone, providing housing for about 200,000 people. The triple-decker is a bit like the Vancouver Special, link included below, in that it is a multi-unit house meant to house the owner and a tenant, or in this case, two tenants, meaning 3 flats, hence triple. Owners would live on the first floor flat and rent the second floor and third floors. Triple-deckers provided an affordable path to home ownership for all of the incoming immigrants. And eventually, the homes usually became multi-generational as apartments were rented out to family members. So what are some iconic features? The exterior of the triple-decker will include, obviously, 3 floors, but also only one front door, a 2- or 3-story porch, usually a flat roof. It's usually wood-framed and wood-sided, and windows on all 4 sides to allow in as much light as possible. The front would also frequently include a 3-story bay window. Bay windows were popular, not just in the Boston triple-decker, but in other major cities such as New York, as they allowed for a lot of light while occupying a very small area of space, and they could overhang the sidewalk below. There are, of course, exceptions to all of these, quote, rules for a triple-decker, but this is the average standard. Due to the era that the triple-deckers were built in, end of the 19th century into the first part of the 20th century, for the most part, the styles kind of vary. The triple-decker could have been built in any number of Victorian-era styles. Italianate was fairly popular, for example, but they also tended towards simplicity. These were supposed to be functional, cheap, affordable housing, so you're not really going to see many that are very ornate. The interiors, as mentioned, included 3 apartments, all of which share the front door and a front hall. Typically, these units included at least 3 rooms that could be used as a bedroom, a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, and a bathroom. They also included a rear porch that could be used to hang laundry as a second means of egress in the event of, say, a fire, or, of course, sleeping in the summer. Though these homes are arguably much nicer than the tenements of New York City, the same fate ultimately befell them. Because of their connection to immigration, they began to be viewed as overcrowded, dirty fire traps by both the anti-immigration movement, who sought to limit the number of immigrants allowed into the country, and the progressive reformers looking to improve living conditions. Placing both of these groups on the same side and blurring the line until it was invisible. New laws limited immigration, and by 1917 the triple-decker, solely because of the demographic of its occupants, was publicly being labeled as a menace, and new zoning and other laws over the next decade made their construction impossible. Over the next half-century, large numbers were abandoned as the government promoted the single-family house, and people moved into the suburbs, and thousands of triple-deckers were torn down. However, by the 1980s, things had changed. Suddenly, there was an affordable housing crisis as mortgage interest rates skyrocketed, and the citizens of Boston began to re-embrace their triple-decker as condominiums. You can still buy a single-family home triple-decker, but for the most part, most of them are now condos. Roughly 10,000 triple-deckers remain in Boston, and their city has a program to help renovate and maintain them. Thank you for joining me today for the triple-decker. Now it's special request time. It has been a really insane year. Every time it looks like it's going to calm down, it doesn't. One major project should hopefully be finishing up in October, and that will help. In the meantime, I need help from you. Let me know in the comment sections what local vernacular architecture you want to see. What is your local type? What is unique to the area that you live in? Or even what pop culture builds would you like to see? These two video types are, interestingly, the easiest to make. Easier than the Idea to Construction series, which is why that one has never been completed. One of these days, I swear. And much easier than the History series, like the Renaissance or Egypt. So, even if you have requested it before, if I haven't done it, request it again. This would be very helpful, as picking topics also takes a long time. So, until next time, you can find me on Instagram at Simming History, and on the Sims 4 gallery at Simming History will there be playable versions of this and many other builds. Thank you to all new subs. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe. Make sure you hit like on the video. I will see you all next time. Hopefully soon. Until then, bye.